Hi, it's Kimberly, the Modern Mess Princess, coming to you with a messy flip through of my journaling Bible. One of the things I love to do is teach what I call heart journaling, which is a combination of art and journaling that really expresses your heart and becomes kind of like a picture of prayer towards God. And one of the things I've really enjoyed lately is doing that in my Bible. Now, I wish I could say I came up with this idea. I did not. But once I found it, I went berserky. So this is how gracious God is. In the last few months, I've been praying that God would give me a desire to get back in reading the Word instead of just reading it feeling like it's homework, because I don't like that feeling. And so this is what's come out of a month and a half from me really learning some ideas on YouTube and from some other people, and taking my journaling Bible to a whole new level, because I had this journaling Bible and I'd been writing in the margins and I'd been using colored highlighters. In fact, I think I've got I've got a page. Yeah, this is a page where I kind of just drew with highlighters and things that I had, which I want to encourage you to just start with what you have. You don't have to worry about having all the cool, every marker you want or all the paints you want. Of course, you can like get cool stuff over time, which is what I've done, and asked for, used my like birthday money and things like that to get my supplies. But I also have a lot of supplies left over from when I did scrapbooking and stamping before, and so I could just kind of dig in with what I had. And believe it or not, I have stamp pads that are 20 years old that still work. So if you've got old stuff, dig it out and see if it works. Most of my markers were mostly dead, but my ink pads are still good. I can't even believe that. And of course, anything like my rubber stamps, and the acrylic blocks and all that stuff, of course, is still good. So if you've got old stuff, dig it out. You can even use cards that people have sent you, pictures from magazines. Just think collage, and you can do that in your Bible. And also, you can take your kids' crayons or get a set of dollar store colored pencils and get going. So you don't have to do anything fancy. So I'm gonna just do a flip through and show you some of what I've been doing so that you can get some ideas that it doesn't have to be perfect. I love being messy. You heard me call myself the Modern Mess Princess, because my ministry is all about allowing for mess, because life is messy and it's okay. We have to come to terms with that. So this was the Created to Create 2 kit that I got from, it was the first kit I got from Illustrated Faith. Love, love, love their products. So you'll see me using some of those in my Bible. And like I said, this was one of my first pages where I decided I was going to start drawing, and then I found out people actually do that and turn their Bibles basically into kind of a scrapbook. So here's where I just started with some stickers I had, and some paints I kind of smushed around on the top of the page. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. This one here, see, this doesn't bother me. It got paint on the other page. If you're a perfectionist, you just put a piece of paper down and you can protect your pages. But I wasn't too worried about that. Again, I'm kind of messy, and so this just symbolizes to me that there are going to be things in life outside of my control, and I can just come to accept them. So this is supposed to look like fire, and so that was acrylic paint, and I did not prep the page with any gesso or anything. And look, you can see shadowing, but it didn't bleed through. This is an NIV journaling Bible from Zondervan, and I believe they still have it with this cover. They also have it with like a teal colored, like that color cover, I think, right now. So that's the book, the version of the Bible I'm using currently. If you guys know one that has even bigger margins, of course I think bigger margins would be better, because then you can fit more stuff on the edges, which I only like to cover the words if you can still see through. Some people don't mind covering up a whole page, and maybe someday I'll get a Bible where I just turn all the pages that I want into art and not worry about the words. But since this is the Bible I'm actually studying out of also, I want to be able to see. So again, this is another one that all I had was my colored pencils, and I had a pen that didn't bleed through the page. And I do recommend Illustrated Faith pens for that, or these little Sharpies. These are great, the little fine tip Sharpies. That's what this is. And they don't bleed through. You get a little bit of ghosting, but nothing too messy for my world. This is now, the current month's kit is Word Nerd with Illustrated Faith, and I just love it. I was able to, what was really fun is I was able to make paint colors that match the colors in their little die cuts and things, and so that was super fun. So you see here, this covers up the words, but look, I have it only glued down up here so that I can pull this up and I can still read the words. And where there's paint, I made it thin enough that I can still read through the paint. And this, it's a heart, it only covers up like one word, and I can figure that out through context clues. So that's some of the ways that I work with bigger pieces on a page. You'll see that more and more often too as we go through this. Okay, so here's a whole lot of paint. These were done on different days. And I just love, I'll cover up this one for a minute. I just love all the rainbow colors. I love watercolors. This page, I do think I prepped. And I used a lot of water and paint, and you can only see ghosting, and you can see where I went over in pen. You can see that a little bit. But I use just a big old tube of clear Art Basics gesso. It dries clear and it dries matte finished. It doesn't, watercolors don't blend as well together on it. So if you want kind of that watercolor, water on water effect, you don't want to gesso your page. But for what I was doing here, I was able to blend them enough. And I'm not too much into technique. I just want to learn things so that I can express myself on the page. I don't want to learn techniques so I can make the most beautiful Bible ever created. That's not my goal. Because if I do that, I'll try to turn it into perfectionism, and then that misses the whole point. So for me, I have to keep it messy so that I keep my heart in the right place. So this was just a piece of cardstock I made into what we call a tip-in, where I wrote I really liked the New Living Testament's version of this little verse here. And so I wrote that in the column in Psalm 18:39. I wanted to really highlight that, obviously, here and all that kind of stuff. So that's one way I've highlighted verses. Here was one of my first attempts at smushing around paint with paint cards. If you watch Shauna from Illustrated Faith, you'll see these paint cards. Basically, they're just cards. You can use old gift cards or anything you want. And you take the acrylic paint and you just put a little dab of it, and then you just scrape it on your page like this. Well, I was trying to create water, and I created chaos, and really, I cannot read this page. So it ended up being darker than I wanted to, but you live and learn, right? And life is messy. I will say that again. So this is messy, and I'm really okay with that. This one I love, love, love. And see, it was kind of fun because the back of this side is really dark, but look at it didn't bleed through much to this page. So this page is all clean and beautiful, and I love all the colors I used on it. I painted a rose to match kind of a rose over here, and these are from Illustrated Faith also. I don't remember what they're from, the kit Bloom or something like that, I think. And I just did some washi and some washi down here, and made my own little ribbon paper clips. Just bought a whole bunch of clips at the dollar store and put different kinds of ribbon through them, and have different colors of them. So you can see my little bin here. So that's kind of fun. And I have a jar of scrap ribbon, which is perfect for making those little tags. And you'll see this page has like 3 tags, just because why not, right? This is the Sleeping Beauty Print and Pray. set from Illustrated Faith. I had it printed at a printer because my printer was not working, and I liked it because it's a laser jet finish. So you could paint over the top of it or put gesso on it or anything and it won't bleed. And he put it on a nice cardstock for me. And then I just used ink pads, these little ink pads, and used the ink pads instead of stamps to create some color. But I saw this woman who uses the Print and Pray shop from Illustrated Faith, and she prints things onto sticker paper, which I would have never thought of. And something like this I wanted on cardstock so that I can, see, I got a little Sleeping Beauty tucked under there. Sometimes there's little surprises for myself. I think they're kind of fun. Sometimes I'll want like this on cardstock. I won't want it to be sticker, but these flowers would have been great to have as a sticker. So you can also crop out what you want from the Print and Pray shop, and you could print off certain things in stickers and other things on cardstock. There's just endless ways you can work with the Print and Pray shop, which is so fun. And they've got a gazillion designs that are gorgeous. And now I have a printer at home, so yay, I can print. So look, these are just stickers I had. This was another one from early on. I have some metallic watercolors that were just really cheap. I think they were like kid ones. They're not the fancy ones, but they create kind of a neat sheen. Here's another one of my beginning ones. These ones were with the gelatos. I used green and pink gelatos and some orange and some yellow and created this path. That was really fun. I love gelatos, or the same concept are the distress crayons, because you can use them as crayons. You can add water to them and they kind of turn into watercolors. They're just so fun to play with. You can smush them around with like a sponge or a brush to create different effects. Super fun. Another page with stuff that I just had in the beginning before I got started. Another one. This is with my old scrapbook paper that I've had for 100 million years. And just pens that I had. Again, I've done all this, you guys, in just like the last month and a half. Here, if there's techniques you want me to show you, leave them in the comments and let me know. I did this ombre cross from kind of a yellowish orange all the way down to a bright reddish pink. That was a really fun technique. I can show you guys how to do that. This is just acetate packaging, and I thought it would be kind of fun to put it in here. I tried to stamp on it, but the stamping didn't. I tried to use India ink and it didn't really take, which didn't surprise me, but I thought it was worth a try. And then just use this as a little tip-in over here. Again, another page where all I had was a teeny bit of washi tape in my collection, and smushed some color around. I think that was from one of the gelatos, because the gelatos, I got a little set of gelatos, and that was my first thing. Oh, love this page. This was a double page spread. These are all left over from my scrapbooking days, and this is actually way more simple than it looks. There's just paint, washi tape, stickers, and then plenty of journaling. But I love those colors. They remind me of the ocean, which is my favorite place to be. Here's more from the Created to Create kit. Another really simple one from when I started and just had highlighters and a teeny bit of washi tape. That obviously is not very good washi tape because it's coming up. Let's see, what else? Oh, this is from packaging. So you can, this is where I said, you know, you can use anything like pictures from magazines or cards you've been given. This is packaging from Illustrated Faith. There you see it's all ripped up. And I just tore it off and inked up the edges and used them, created my own little tip-ins where I could do some journaling. And again, this is just rubbing an ink pad just around the page to splash some color on it. Again, I love the messy idea. You all know that I'm a messy person, and that's just The Way God Made Me. Alrighty, another fun page. This is where the woman with the bleeding issue meets Jesus, and she reaches out for his, if the hem of his garment, and he would have had tassels. Now they probably would have been blue because he was seen as a rabbi, but I didn't have blue twine at the time, so I had this. So I made a tassel to remind myself where the story is, because this story is really important to me. In fact, I'm an inspirational speaker, and I have a whole talk that I do about her encounter with Christ, and not only her physical healing, but everything that happened that was so amazing. Just did this one today, harvest with my old stamps. These were from the Print and Pray shop. Super cute fall stuff. Added some glitter washi, and that's it. And then made these as tip-ins so that I can still see the words, and I had more places to journal. This can also come up so I can still see the words. And this one, if something bleeds through and it bothers you, like look, the hand-drawn tassels over here bled through, but I just put that there on this page and it's all better. So really, you can work with mistakes, and sometimes I think mistakes, especially in my heart journaling classes that I teach, mistakes are often not really mistakes, and they turn into blessings and more wisdom in your art. So I always encourage people to keep their mistakes, because there's often a metaphor or a lesson that you can get from that mistake that you would have not seen otherwise. So I always think that's really cool, is to be able to dig up those treasures, because those are treasures just when you think you've made a mistake. And how cool is that we can make mistakes? I mean, isn't this our Christian walk, that we can make mistakes and God makes good of them? Well, same with our art. Oh, more Word Nerd. I'm loving this Word Nerd kit. I love the colors. I love how funky it is. See, I have this, it's actually really inexpensive stamp pad, so that's why it doesn't ink up very well, but it's perfect because I can still see the words through it. So that's kind of fun. And I don't always put their journaling cards in because it's going to add a lot of thickness to my Bible, but I pick the ones that I really want to remember and use those, because if you haven't seen their kits yet, oh my goodness, you have to see their kits. Again, more with just, this is when I was traveling, and I just brought some stickers and a few markers with me. And I usually travel with my Bible and with stickers and markers. I even did that before I knew about art journaling, because I just gotta have my Bible with me. These are some little coloring cards that I've done. They're almost too thick to be a tip-in, but I really wanted that in there, so I went ahead and put it in there. You'll see sometimes I make my own tabs out of washi tape or the ribbon. Sometimes I have little tabs like I got at the dollar store. Like, these ones have been awesome. They're lasting forever and they're so cute. Dollar store, huge package of them. Again, here's one that I started where I only had pens and things. It was before I had any of the other kind of Print and Pray shop or other Illustrated Faith type products. This is a super simple one. You don't need hardly anything from. I do have a few Illustrated Faith products, the Word Fetty and these cute little hexies, but other than that, pretty simple. Here's one of my beginning ones too. I love this. It looks like mermaid scales or something. But yeah, metallic watercolor paints, which again were the really inexpensive ones. Here's another page from the beginning where all I had were stickers and some washi. But it's kind of fun to see where you've come from. Here's a page I did with, pretty sure I did these with the Distress crayons. And not much water. Did some water over here, created a tip-in, bookmarky thing for some hidden journaling. Oh, this one I love too. Stand tall in him, be sweet, and wear your crown. Be a pineapple. I love that fun little phrase. And I look at this, can cover the page, but I can see the words through this. It's a little rub-on I had transfer. And look at, you can just pull that down and there's room for journaling and more journaling if I want, and I can still see the word. Sleeping Beauty. I have that not glued down there so I can see the words. Again, maybe one day, I think it would be fun to just let myself kind of be free and cover up the words, but right now I like to be able to read and study in my Bible and be able to do my art in it. So I don't know. We'll see down the road. This is my first attempt at art journaling. Then my niece made this for me, which was super sweet. So I put it in my Bible and I had her tell me what things she wanted me to pray for her, and I wrote them on the back. So when I turn to that page, I pray for my niece and her family. This was a fun little freebie on the Print and Pray shop. They send out little freebies every once in a while, so go check out that. And it was just a fun little devotional that inspired actually kind of more thinking than it did art for me, but that's okay. Here's a really heavy page. What I found is the cardstock that I have left over from scrapbooking, a lot of it is pretty heavy, but so to do something layered like this, it made the page pretty heavy, but that doesn't really bother me either. It did kind of tear up, so I had to kind of reinforce the page with some washi, but again, totally okay with that. More pink. Oh, I love this one, pink and black. Oh, I love this page. Now I used washi to create a mask here so that I could paint over the top of it, and when I pulled up the washi, it pulled up some of the words, so I just wrote them back in, and I figure, hey, it's just part of my messy Bible, right? And I think that's it. So sometimes I've gessoed, sometimes I've not. Like this, I don't think I gessoed this one, and you can see the writing through the back, and you can see some paint coming through. But it just depends on what you prefer and what you want your Bible to be like. If my Bible doesn't have very many back pages, like actually it only has this one, but some have like lots of information pages like that you may not want to reference. And so I know people have practiced on those pages so that you can get a good idea if your ink is going to bleed through, so you know if you want to gesso or not. But yeah, so that's my walkthrough of my heart journaling in my Bible, and I'm super excited, and I will bring some process videos to you guys too, so you can see how I think through my process, and maybe that will inspire you in your process. So thanks for watching, and if you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe and share it with your friends, because hey, we all need to be in this messy life together, right? All right, bye for now.